Welcome everybody for the session. 7 things you should know about Azure Data Factory. I'm Sunil Sabat. I'm Principal Product Manager in Azure Data Governance group at Microsoft. Okay, welcome everybody. So, what are the 7 things we are going to talk about? Here is the agenda. So the first one is, we'll talk about Azure Data Factory and why it is an enterprise-ready serverless integration platform at scale, and it runs on Azure. Number 2, we'll talk about our connectivity portfolio. We have 90 plus connectors and how they enable the Azure Data Factory to offer you ETL and ELT solutions at scale in the cloud. Number 3 would be the whole serverless paradigm of Azure Data Factory. We also talk about how you can do data movement and data transformation at scale virtually with no code or with minimum code. Okay. Number 4 would be how Azure Data Factory supports all kinds of compute, be it SD Insight or Databricks or Azure Functions, logic apps. We provision execution of any kind of compute and on this platform to enable your ETL and then ELT needs. Number 5. This is for the Microsoft SSIS and the SQL Server users. I know you have developed many SSIS packages now with SQL moving to cloud. We offer you best of breed out of the box capability to run your SSIS packages in Azure. Number 6 would be we'll be discussing about our data apps, where we'll talk about how can you take your development on Azure Data Factory and run it on your dev, your QA, and in production environments, and how we have integrated with Azure DevOps Git or GitHub and our Azure pipelines, how we have automated your CI/CD operation. Last but not least, but most important feature is how we run this Azure Data Factory in a secure environment. Okay. So let's go to number 1 item. As I said, Azure Data Factory is serverless, cloud scale, ETL platform. Okay. So here is the very common paradigm that's used over the years. Here you can see we are pulling in on-premise data, cloud data, SaaS data like Salesforce or MS Dynamics. Usually we should get the data and then ingest, and then we prepare the data, then usually do a transform, do the prediction and enrichment, and then you serve the data. So all these 4 pillars are the key components of any modern ETL or ETL platform, ELT platform. You might have known that there are legacy platforms which let you do that, but for that what it goes. But with the ADF, we give you this cloud-based, fully managed platform to achieve all these tasks visually and with no code. Okay, and Azure Data Factory runs on Azure Data Lake Storage, ADLS Gen 2 storage, and also with ADF we also offer you enterprise grade data pipeline orchestration and then monitoring of your entire end-to-end jobs. In the end, once you transform your data, you prepare your data you want to serve. So there we have full integration with the Power BI. Okay, okay, so Power BI can connect to Azure Data Factory, produce data, and you can visualize your reports. So going back to the fundamentals of Azure Data Factory's key features. It's very easy to use. You can visually develop your ETL and ELT flows. Okay, and we say you can develop and you orchestrate and you run and you consume your data. It's a pretty easy to use. It's cost effective. This is a cloud-based product. It's a pay-as-you-go model, right? And it's fully managed and serverless. Okay, and it scales on demand. I'll give you some examples, right? For the copy or data transformation, how we offer that scalability. Okay, and then it's very powerful. We leverage, Azure infrastructure, for the compute and for networking and for storage. The full backbone of Azure is behind Azure Data Factory. Okay, and also the power comes with our connectors and how we orchestrate and also monitor at scale your ETL and then ELT data flows. On top of it, we've injected intelligent and autonomous behavior. For example, see a schema drift. We can infer schema. We can automatically provision computes for your copy or data transformation task. Okay, those are a few examples. So those automations are built into the product. So let's take an example, right? Moving data at global scale. As you know, nowadays, we are producing gigabytes, terabytes, petabytes of data, and those have to be moved, cross country or cross cities and across globally, right? To actually move. Here is an example, right? With an ADF, you just step one, you copy configuration settings, right? There, you can set how you want to provision your data integration unit or degree copy of a parallelism that gives you parallelism and how much compute you can have. Then the number two would be you're given that information, right? Weekly provision the just-in-time compute capability for you. Right, just with those two inputs, we can move terabytes and petabytes of data. Here you see how we move from Amazon S3 to ADLS Gen 2 in Azure. Yeah, so here is a glimpse of how much automation we built into not only setting the parameters and also provisioning them. Okay, so here is the Azure availability across the globe. You can see there are 25 plus regions and it's growing, right? And we have this backbone infrastructure to store and move your data. Okay, now given the core features of ETL platform like ADF, right? There is enterprise need to orchestrate and to trigger the task and jobs at scale at predictable level, right? So this orchestration and the trigger feature is a core part of the product, where you can orchestrate your pipelines, and within pipelines, you can have several activities. Here's an example for each activity, and each activity again can talk to your on-prem resources, and also you can also run the compute on your on-prem VNet. So we give you the whole gamut of all your compute needs, and you can orchestrate at scale. Okay? Not only orchestration of your pipelines and activity tasks, we also give you an excellent monitoring, right? Where you can monitor your pipelines, right? And you can see the parameters, right, after the run, right? And on top of that, you also can see, right, the system, like the stream information and window rank last year. We give a lot of monitoring data. You can infer. Okay, and this is the Data Factory security. Also, ADF is ADF offers you this more secure ETL pipeline in the cloud. I will say that, right? We are certified for HIPAA, high tech, recently high trust, ISO. Those are certificates we have offered. We also connect securely, to Azure Data Services with managed identity and service principal. So those are core Azure identity features. We support them. And also you can store your credentials in Azure Key Vault, and ADF is native integration with Azure Key Vault. On top of that, our managed virtual network, which is a core feature, it's in a preview mode. It lets you run your compute in totally secure manner on its Azure backbone, reducing any kind of data exfiltration, and addressing all data security issues. Okay, we'll discuss that more later. Okay, now coming to number 2. So in the first we discuss about ADF as a serverless cloud scale ETL platform, right? So number 2, we're going to discuss the number of connectors we have. So any ETL product you might have used in past, or ETL products has to offer connectors, right? Here you can see we not only support our Azure data sources, we also support like Teradata, Oracle, like SaaS offerings like ServiceNow, like Google BigQuery and all. And this portfolio is increasing, right? So with this, we let you connect and ingest data. And once you ingest data, you can run your transformations, your enrichments I talked about, right? And then you store the data again, right? Back in these data sources, or you serve your end use cases. Okay. Now let us come to number 3. Okay. So we talked about how you copy the data, right? From one using these connectors. Another core feature of Azure Data Factory, what you call the mapping data flow. It allows you, to do your ETL and the ELT tasks, right? All visually, right? And you will spend less time, in writing code, or figuring out your source and destinations and figuring out the ports, right? If you know other products, right? Here we completely give you drag and drop, click through way of developing your ETL flows. And once you design your ETL flow, right, you source the data, you do some lookups, you do some aggregates, right? Then you do some altering, or you add a couple of columns. That's what usually ETL tasks, and then you want to write to again say our Synapse, that all you can do visually on a canvas. Okay, and the beauty of this is, once you develop it, we generate the Spark code, beneath, and then run on a Spark cluster, and you don't have to provision the Spark cluster. Okay? We provision, we manage, and we give you the output. Okay? So that's the way mapping data flow offers not only the code free visual ETL development, it is resilient, and it speeds up your ETL process. Okay? And as you develop, right, ETL developers need to debug, right, before they run their production pipelines. So we offer you this debug mode. You can within the ADF canvas, you can go to debug mode. You can quickly test your logic, right? And to test your logic, we also provision you a Spark cluster, on demand. There you can debug your logic, and once you can preview your data, right? And once you're happy, you can orchestrate that data flow, right? That pipeline, pipeline with the data flow for a production use. Okay, this is very powerful feature. So here's the example, of running the mapping data flow in debug mode. Here's the data preview, and once you're happy with the data, right, you're satisfied with this data flow, and now you can deploy it for your production use with a trigger run. Now, how you want to, suppose you don't use the visual tools, right? And you want to run, you want to jumpstart. We offer you, ADF Arm templates, which you can quickly deploy on Azure, and and then you can run your pipelines. Okay. In case you're interested in the data wrangling aspect of ETL product, we offer a feature called Power Query, right? So there, you can see, this is Excel-like, data prep tool. But the beauty of it is that you can use Power Query here, but just like mapping data flow in the backend, we exploit our Spark cluster to execute this Power Query functions, right? So think of Excel running on top of a Spark cluster. That's what Power Query is. Okay. Number 4 is run any kind of compute using ADF, right? So you can run Databricks, you can machine learning, Azure functions. So this is the beauty of Azure Data Factory, right? It is not only ETL tool, right? But it kind of allows you to run all your compute, right? In what you call in orchestrated manner, right? So with ADF, you don't have to buy another scheduler or another orchestrator or another compute connector or another storage connector. We put all those features in a single offering. Okay. Now coming to number 5. So SSIS has been very popular, in the Microsoft world, and as the SQL has moved to cloud, we offer you best-in-class, SSIS package migration to Azure. So you could be in your SS Visual Studio or SQL Server Management Studio. You can, from there itself, you can, author and build your SSIS package and run on Azure. So if you run on Azure your SSIS package, what offers? You reduce operational cost, you streamline your hosting process, aided by Data Migration Assistant, Data Factory Deployment Wizard. They're available as I said, in Visual Studio and SSMS, and also this helps you operationalize the ETL. You develop on-prem with your studio, then you run this package in the cloud. Okay, we've automated the whole process. And so the big benefits of running SSIS in the Azure modernization, greater potential, enabling your cost saving up to 88%. It's only fully compatible solution, easy to use, experience the benefits of the cloud, unlock limitless inside the Azure Synapse. Okay. So with SSIS, you have a package tied to Synapse, but you run on SSIS package on the cloud on Azure, and there you do everything in the cloud at scale. Okay. Number 6. So as customers started using ADF and these packages of this this ETL data flows have developed, they are all like, behind they're all like JSON templates, right? And you'd like to, run your CI/CD operation, like you're developing on a data factory. Now you want to test it, you want to, QA it, then deploy into production, just like your Git operation. So ADF has built-in support for Azure DevOps Git or Git Enterprise, right? And you could connect your repository and develop on a branch, then you publish it. And we've automated the whole CI/CD process. Okay? So this is a key feature, of Azure Data Factory, and this this way you give you the source control. Okay. So here is an example. You can see the source control, automated deployment, the data factory. So we have built-in integration with Azure pipelines, right? So you can have your different pipeline design. You can point them to different repositories, and you can have your CI/CD process kick in. Okay. And number 7, last but not least, is security. So as I said, Azure Data Factory is the best-in-class, serverless, cloud ETL tool, right? And I will say it's most secure also with our managed virtual network. You can, create a data factory in a virtual network. When you create it, it's a managed virtual network. So we'll create a virtual network for you, right? And then we take care of all the complexities behind, right? And once ADF runs in a managed virtual network, from there you can create these private endpoints, right, to all your secured properties. Maybe it's a SQL managed instance, maybe your storage vault, or maybe your Synapse data warehouse, and you can only you want to connect only to private endpoints, right? So that there won't be any data exfiltration or any or any data leakage, right? That control, that feature is built into our managed virtual network feature of this Azure Data Factory. Here you can see, right, ADF is hosted in a VNet, and within VNet we have private endpoints which are connected to storage, and Synapse, right, is fully secured, and so all the network traffic that happens through Azure backbone, right, networking. So with this, I'll summarize. So as you heard, we went over the core feature of Azure Data Factory. It's enterprise ready serverless ETL platform. Then we went through many connectors we have. Those are key components to make any ETL or ELT solution successful. We offer them. Number 3, we discuss about the serverless feature, how you provision this compute at scale, and the code free of doing data transformations. We went through some examples also, and we support varieties of computing. You can orchestrate those computes for your need. Then we discuss the SSIS packages, how you can rehost them on Azure, and giving you scalability and cost savings and less manageability. Yeah, that's built into ADF platform. Then we touched upon our GitHub and the DevOps integration to give you complete CI/CD, capability, within Azure Data Factory. Last but not least, the most important is the security, right? With the managed VNet feature, you can connect to all your data sources securely and can do your ETL tasks. So with this, I'll finish here, and I would, and I thank you. I thank for your time. So these are the few resources for you. If you are, I will be definitely interested. The first is our, Azure, Data Factory, introduction. That's the, and a lot of documentation we have. Okay, please go there. And also we have recently, launched our MS Learn program, where you have, these learning modules. We have now 6 learning modules. Please go through them. Those are free. And you can learn, not only the copy, mapping data flow, the orchestration, the CI/CD. You will learn a lot. And on the social media, we are very active on Twitter, on the YouTube channel. Please go there and let us know. And we want to be, we want to hear from you. Thank you very much.